some piping hot tea. We've got some VTuber tea. Woo! Man, if you haven't heard about what had happened with this VTuber tea, I mean, I don't know how you couldn't, because like even YouTubers who had no idea what, like, do not talk about VTubers at all. We're talking about this situation. But basically what happened is that Selen Tatsuki from NijiEN's was terminated. And it caused a big riot because of how they dealt with the termination. So, God, I don't even know what day it was. It was a few days ago now.
This was on Monday.
Monday?
Like, this is, wait, was it Monday or Tuesday?
It was Monday or Tuesday. It was definitely Monday.
It was, February 5th. That's when they released the termination letter, the 3-page termination letter.
Yeah, they released a 3-page termination letter about the termination of Selen. And for those who don't know, who is Selen? So Selen, obviously VTuber in NijiEN's, like we already said, but she was the biggest female VTuber liver in NijiEN's on the EN side. There are some that are bigger than her in the original like JP branch, but she was the biggest female talent. Like she had 800,000 subs on YouTube, and she was a very good FPS player. She played a lot of FPS games. She was very gamer. And she liked to run a lot of tournaments, and now she has been terminated, and the internet is not happy.
No, it was honestly literally impossible to escape this news, like everywhere.
Yep.
And updates literally multiple times a day, like different allegations, different people coming up. Like it has been an insane week for NijiEN's.
Yep.
For sure.
Oh, absolutely. And here's the thing, right? So let's kind of get into like the nitty gritty of it. So basically, NijiEN's had released a statement kind of talking about everything she had done wrong, and everything she like had done wrong, and like throwing, you know, like people under the bus, and not taking any type of accountability for themselves as the company.
Yeah. I think that's what pissed off people the most, because it was just, I mean, reading the statement, if you're familiar with Japanese business etiquette, it's very Japanese.
Yes.
But I feel like the majority of international people aren't familiarized with Japanese business culture or anything like that. I think the 3-page statement, it reads off like a typical Japanese, like, I would say like PR statement. It's just very dry, very to the point. Lacks any sort of like humility or compassion. But that's how they operate. Like, although they do have the EN branch, they're still running the EN branch with Japanese business like, etiquette.
Well, here's the thing, right? Is that like from a Japanese standpoint, like when you look at the difference between how the Japanese audience reacted to the statement to the EN side, the Japanese side of things, like all of the Japanese fans were like, yeah, that sucks. Yeah. You know, like that sucks, but oh well. Like it was normal to them. Like they didn't see anything wrong with it. Whereas like the EN side of, you know, the West, we all looked at it and we're like, what the hell is this? Like, what is this? Yeah. Right? Now, I'm going to give some, well, it's not really a hot take, but like back when Zion, so I'm going to talk a little about Zion, and this one was a termination too. Zion, let me give some backstory on Zion. So Zion was a part of a wave called XLA, and they had only been with the company for not even 3 months before they got terminated, right? And I think that, I'm not going to lie, I feel like the fans brought this upon themselves. right? And brought this upon everything, even though it's okay. This is the hot take. This is the hot take. I have like so many different like things I want to say, but I don't know how to formulate all of them into a cohesive thing. So bear with me, okay? So the fans kind of brought this upon themselves in a way of like, and still the company is still wrong for this, and I still think they should have never done this. But back when Yugo, who was who graduated back in like December 14th of 2022. Yeah, 2022. They graduated, right? And people were really upset about Yugo's graduation because Yugo was part of the Noctix wave, their second male wave, the one right after Luxium. And people were really upset because they wanted transparency. And one of the things that the audience, that Niji fans really begged for constantly and criticized Niji was transparency, right? They were like, you guys need to be transparent. You guys need to be transparent. You guys need to be transparent. And I'm like, I think they don't need to be transparent, right? Because then what happened was Zion came along, and Zion did a bunch of really bad stuff. Like, she was not compliant with like the rules. She did, like, she would talk about modding games on stream. She made a SA joke as well on stream. She basically was she joked about being a Shotokan.
Yeah, I remember.
Like that. It was a lot. It was a lot that led to her termination, right? And when she got terminated, they did the exact same thing to Zion as they did with Selen. But everyone hated Zion. Everyone did not like Zion because of all the shit she did on stream, right? And they gave a very similar statement to what Selen's was, right? But everyone back then was like totally cool with it because they're like, well, she deserved that, right? But the thing is like, even back then, I still did not agree with them doing this entire statement like the way that they did, right? Because it's not, it is like, unfortunately, you as a viewer, you as a fan are not entitled to why someone is terminated, right?
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. I don't know if a lot of the fans are just underage and have never had a corporate job or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I know I've tweeted this, so I can say it, but recently, like, the company that I work for, a lot of people have been quitting. Yep. Including people in VP positions. And I remember, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, we got an email like in the middle of the day saying like, oh, 2 of the VPs have quit and left the company. That's it. That's all the information we got. They left and quit. No further like clarification, nothing. Because as employees, like, we don't need to know.
No.
And I don't want to be nosy enough to get in that business anyways. Like, I just mind my own business. I come, I work, I clock out, that's it.
And you're a part of the company,
and I'm part of the company. Yeah
And so like it's part of the problem that I see is because like the fans asked for it, right?
Yeah.
And then they got exactly what they wanted, but now they're like, well, this isn't okay, right? Because it's like, no, transparency is bad. Okay. That sounds really bad out of context. But transparency this is not something you should be transparent about, right? It should only be between the liver and the company, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. That is it, right? And everyone being upset about, well, how did they do this to Selen is like, yeah, because you guys begged for transparency. And of course, the company wants to always look good, right? So they threw people under the bus, and that's fucked up, right? Like that's bad, right? Like they throw other people under the bus, you know? And I think it was wrong of them. I thought it was wrong of them to do it with Selen. I thought it was also wrong for them to do it with Zion, because that's not our business on why someone is terminated. The most that we need to know is that they breached contract. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only, if it's like, hey, Selen was terminated because she breached contract.
This is Post Editing Laura. I wanted to quickly take the time to compare and contrast how Hololive handled a recent termination back in January of this year. So the statement they released for Yosora Mail's termination was, "We would like to express our sincere gratitude for your continued support of Hololive production. We regret to announce that as of January 16, 2024, we have terminated our virtual YouTuber master agreement with Yosora Mail of Hololive. It has been confirmed that Yosora Mail has been engaging in acts that violated her contract by leaking information that she acquired from the company to third parties. As a result, we have determined that it has become difficult to continue managing and supporting her, and with agreement from the talent, we have elected to make this decision. To all of our fans and partners, we deeply appreciate all of the great support you have provided throughout the activities that Yosora Mail has engaged in over a period of 5 years and 8 months since her debut as part of the first generation of Hololive. It is with regret that we must report that this is a matter of spite of the long-standing activities of Yosora Mail. We sincerely apologize for the information we are providing at this time. We will be closing the Yosora Mail's YouTube channel and membership by the end of February 2024. We are taking this matter seriously, and we intend to make further efforts into instructing our affiliated talents on compliance matters so that similar events do not happen again in the future. We hope for your continued support and patronage of the talents of Hololive Productions as well as our company." So the statement reads entirely different to what Niji released with Selen Tatsuki's termination letter, as you can clearly see. I do want to point out that when we recorded this podcast episode, Niji-sanji's response that was posted on February 12th had not yet taken place.
Right? Because this whole thing started when Selen had posted a music video that she had been working on it was called A Last Cup of Coffee. She was doing a cover. And she posted it on Christmas. And within the day, it got also taken down by management, and she got really upset for it, right? She got really upset. And, you know, this is my hot take. It might not be so hot, but, you know, as someone who is a VTuber who has worked jobs, who has been in management at some of these jobs, she deserved the termination. Not the way that she was terminated, but the termination itself. Because when you look at it so they are a Japanese company, right?
Yeah.
And they have different laws when it comes to laws in Japan when it comes to copyright and all that stuff. And she potentially could have gotten them in a lot of fucking trouble, because she jumped the gun. And I know I saw people being like, well, she was just getting the job faster done than management. And I'm like,
well, yeah, again, I feel like that's just people not understanding Japanese business cultures. And as someone who works for a company that does business with like Japanese companies and deals with like approvals and licensing rights and all that stuff, they take a while.
They take a while because
they take a very long time.
They're
very
go ahead.
meticulous when it comes to like getting approvals done and stuff like that. And I can understand why some of like the livers from the NijiEN branch they can get impatient when it comes to like waiting for approvals and things to get done. But I mean, I'm not saying the Japanese way is correct, but it is the Japanese way, and they are working for a Japanese company.
Well, I wouldn't even say that like it's not a fact of it's correct or not. Is that that's just how their laws work. Because imagine had something gone under the radar where something was used and an artist was like, oh, I never actually gave the approval for this. Now I can sue them for lots of money because they use something without my approval in a way that I did not agree with, right? Like they have to go through the steps or they get in trouble, right? Like it's not them just being like, yeah, we're going to take forever just because like, fuck you, Selen. It's more like they have to make sure that everything is in order so that way they don't get in trouble with the law.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of Selen's fans got mad because Selen had mentioned that she had gotten the permission from the artist and the producer of the song.
Yes.
But there's one thing for her to get the verbal approval from them.
Yeah.
And there's another thing to go through the company and get the approvals through the company.
Yes.
And it should have been, if she's under contract, everything should have gone through the company.
Yep.
And not just like little tweets saying like, yes, we agree, you can record the cover.
Well, and here's the thing too, is like there's like NDAs and all that stuff that need to be signed.
Yeah.
And like there's so much stuff that happens, right? Because like I have signed an NDA with NijiEN's about something. It's already passed and it like didn't actually happen, but like I had to sign, right? Like they had to give me the paperwork to sign, you know, and I, you know, like that they're a company, because that's exactly like what companies do, is they have to, because that is just the way it works in companies. And it's not even a NijiEN's problem. It is just like, it's not even a problem, to be honest. It's just the way a business works, because you can't just willy-nilly do things, right? Because from their statement, you know, they said that she turned it in, like the finished project, to them on like the 24th, and she posted at JP time.
Everything was like, everything was just super quickly.
Yeah.
Like,
and then the 26th, she posted it JP time. And it's not, she didn't have it actually approved, right? And I think the very like a good example, because she's already done this now as her new persona, and basically during her stream, right, like you literally see it happen live right in front of you, why she got terminated.
Mr. Man, is the store ready? Mr. Man, is the store ready? If the store is ready, just send me the link, Mr. Man. I don't even know if my manager is even watching me, to be honest.
Right. So she had a she has a merch store, right? And she was trying to, on stream, being like, manager's on, manager, you know, like post it, like post it now, post it. Like, can we post it, right? When it was not ready to be up, right? And so it went up, and now people are having trouble with the international people are having problems with the shipping and being accurate shipping. And so they had to, I think, cancel some of the orders because of that, right? Because it wasn't ready, right? It wasn't ready. It didn't go through the proper steps, right? Now imagine, had she done that in NijiEN's, just imagine like something like that. Would the audience not be mad that NijiEN's didn't take the proper steps to make sure everything worked? Like people would be mad, because they didn't take the precautions. But then she does it, and everyone's like, no, it's fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. Right. And it's like, no, it's not okay. And this is an example of why she got terminated, because stuff like that can happen if you do not make sure everything is aligned and correct.
Well, like, I was on the Welcome Back stream and everything, and it was, as an older like fan of VTubers, it was very strange just seeing how demanding she was being on stream. I feel like all of that should have been like a private conversation between her and her manager.
Yeah.
I mean, there was over 100,000 people on the stream.
Yes. Gosh.
She got an immense amount of subscribers within like a few hours.
Yes.
So yes, it's, as a business move, smart.
Mm-hmm.
In a way.
Yeah.
But let's say the international shipping not working is it should have been the least of her concern, because there's actually like safety. Like, I imagine if the card information got leaked because they didn't take the necessary steps to ensure that the website was encrypted correctly and secure and everything like that. That should have been the first priority, not just trying to get the merch out for people to pre-order it.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what I mean though, is like those are like the steps that you need to take, and you can't just skip over. Like, you cannot just skip over those steps, because like you get problems like that, right? And so that is my little defense for Niji Sanji when it comes to termination, at least, because I know a lot of people were like she was unfairly terminated, but she really wasn't.